What if I told you 10 major car brands are about to disappear? Not in 5 years, but by 2026. We're talking dealerships shutting down overnight, warranties turning worthless, and resale values crashing harder than in 2008. It's not a recession, it's an automotive extinction. Factories closing, executives selling off stock, and some of the cars people just bought this year, they might not even have dealer support next year. And the craziest part? The #1 brand on this list isn't just dying, it's dragging 14 other car companies down with it. So don't look away, because if your car shows up on this list, you might have just caught a financial disaster right on time. Alright, let's kick things off with a brand that once symbolized luxury and performance, and is now running straight toward a cliff. Jaguar. Jaguar isn't just struggling, they're actively pulling the plug on themselves. The company has already decided to kill every model they currently build. Sedans, gone. SUVs, gone. Sports cars, gone. And the replacements? They won't arrive until 2026. That means Jaguar dealers are staring at 18 months with nothing new on the lot, a slow, painful countdown to extinction. And here's the kicker. When the next Jaguars finally show up, they won't even be sold through normal dealerships. Jaguar is switching to online-only sales, leaving their dealer network to collapse in silence. So, if you own a Jaguar or are thinking about buying one, who's going to fix it when something breaks? And trust me, something will break. Financially, Jaguar owners are already feeling it. Trade-in values are falling. Warranties are getting more complicated, and insurers see what's happening. When a brand's future looks shaky, they make you pay for the risk. Jaguar wants to suddenly reinvent itself as a Bentley-level luxury brand with Bentley-level prices. But let's be honest, Bentley buyers don't cross-shop Jaguars, and Jaguar buyers don't have Bentley budgets. It's a strategy only a boardroom could love, and customers aren't buying it, literally. Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo is a brand car lovers rave about, but almost nobody actually buys, and the clock is running out. While the Mazda CX-5 moves off dealer lots faster than free donuts at a car show, Alfa's Tonale, their so-called savior, sells at an 8-to-1 disadvantage. Enthusiasm doesn't pay the bills, and dealerships know it. Behind the scenes, the situation is even worse. Investment for new Alfa models has been slashed to the bone. Future vehicles that were promised to fans, canceled. Engineering projects delayed indefinitely. And when a company stops funding tomorrow, that's usually because they're not sure they'll even be around tomorrow. Dealers certainly feel it. Many are quietly removing Alfa showrooms, blending them in with Fiat or Jeep. Parts take longer to get, service availability shrinks, and owners start to wonder whether they bought a car or a hobby. Financing companies see the pattern too. When a brand is on its way out, loans get tougher, interest rates creep up, and resale value turns into a punchline. Anyone who buys a new Alfa in 2025 might be paying off a car from a brand that no longer exists by 2026. DS Automobiles. It's supposed to be France's answer to BMW and Mercedes, but it's kind of hard to be a luxury brand when nobody recognizes your logo. And the few people who do, they aren't buying. Dealers are bleeding money because the cars simply aren't moving. A dealer needs to sell around 50 vehicles a month to stay alive, but many DS locations are lucky to sell 18. That's not a business, that's a countdown. And every month, more DS showrooms quietly disappear. Then there's depreciation. A DS can lose over 65% of its value in just 3 years. The worst crash you'll see outside the stock market. Great if you love burning money. Terrible if you plan to trade in your car one day. Owners quickly find out a DS badge is basically a resale value black hole. And here's the real danger. If DS disappears, which is extremely likely by 2026, you're stuck driving an orphan car. Parts become harder to find. Warranties become a headache. Mechanics groan when they see you pull in. And insurance companies absolutely notice the risk. Simply put, DS is a premium brand with no premium future. And if you think this one's in trouble, the next brand has been dying for decades and is somehow still hanging on by a thread. Chrysler. Chrysler's situation isn't just bad, it's pretty much over. The brand sold fewer than 200 cars in all of Europe last year. Not 2,000, just 200. You could fit every European Chrysler buyer into a single movie theater and still have empty seats. That's how close we are to a flatline. With almost no dealership presence left overseas, Chrysler doesn't sell cars anymore. They just maintain the legal right to exist. And here's the wild part. Stellantis is trying to keep Chrysler alive by rebadging French Peugeots and pretending it's a revival. It's not a strategy, it's a weekend at Bernie's situation. For owners, this is where the alarm bells get loud. Without dealers, warranty support disappears. Without sales, parts availability dries up. And without a future, resale value falls straight off a cliff. If you buy a Chrysler in 2025, you might be making payments long after the brand itself is gone. Chrysler once helped launch the minivan revolution. Today, it's barely a footnote. But as bad as that is, nothing compares to the collapse coming next. Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi is one of those brands people forget still exists. And honestly, that might tell you everything. This is the same company that once built rally icons like the Lancer Evolution, and now they struggle to sell a crossover even with hefty discounts and free floor mats thrown in. Their market share in Europe has collapsed so far that analysts sometimes treat it like a rounding error. Instead of investing in fresh models or developing the next generation of cars, Mitsubishi's latest survival strategy is to rebadge someone else's vehicle and hope nobody notices. It's less innovation and more automotive cosplay. And when a brand stops building its own identity, that's usually step one before disappearing entirely. The dealer network is shrinking fast, which leaves current owners stuck searching for service support like they're on a treasure hunt. Resale values are falling, financing gets tougher, and warranties suddenly feel more like crossed fingers than protection. Buying a Mitsubishi today means accepting the very real possibility that by 2026, your car might be supported by no one. Mitsubishi once had a loyal fan base and a place in the future of cars. Now, they're mostly running on nostalgia, and nostalgia doesn't pay the bills. If surviving 2026 requires momentum, Mitsubishi is running out of gas. Smart. Smart was once marketed as the future of city driving, tiny, trendy, and perfectly designed for a world that never truly existed. People loved pointing at them, but very few actually bought one. And now, the brand's sales have fallen so far that even the most optimistic analysts are having a hard time pretending Smart has a future. They've tried a full electric reboot, but the execution has been awkward and expensive. Instead of leading the EV revolution, Smart got swallowed by it. Their newest models rely more on partnerships and borrowed engineering than any real innovation from Smart themselves. When a brand stops creating and starts copying, it usually means the end is close. Dealers aren't motivated to keep Smart alive. The profit isn't there, the demand isn't there, and the customers who do buy one quickly learn the resale market is brutal. Trying to sell a used Smart is like trying to sell a tiny house to someone who dreams of a mansion. The audience isn't big enough. Insurance companies see the writing on the wall. Parts suppliers see it. Even Mercedes, the co-owner, is gradually backing away. Smart isn't just running out of buyers, it's running out of reasons to exist. By 2026, Smart will likely become exactly what its name suggests, a clever idea that looked good on paper and couldn't survive the real world. Lancia. Lancia has become a museum piece pretending to be a car brand. Outside of Italy, most people couldn't even tell you the last time they saw one on the road. And inside Italy, they're barely hanging on. The entire brand is now down to one single model, a dressed-up Fiat, limping along in a low-volume death spiral. Their big comeback plan is an electric version of that same car, and it's already flopping. When a brand can't sell cars with engines or batteries, you've officially run out of excuses. And in a world where emissions regulations tighten every year, a brand with no competitive EV strategy isn't evolving, it's sinking. The dealer network doesn't offer any hope either. There are no true Lancia dealerships anymore, just Fiat showrooms where a small Lancia sign gathers dust in the corner. Most salespeople would rather push literally anything else. That should tell you everything. For buyers, the warning signs are glowing red. Resale values collapsing, parts getting harder to source, and future support looking like a game of good luck, you're on your own. If Lancia disappears, and it will, owners could be stuck with a brand that no longer exists on paper or pavement. Lancia once built icons. Now it struggles to build a reason to continue. And unlike the next brand, Lancia already died once. This time, there's no second resurrection coming. Infiniti. Infiniti has already done something most brands wait until the very end to do. They quit. They officially withdrew from Europe years ago because sales were so low it wasn't even worth turning on the showroom lights. Today, they're trying to stage a comeback with electric vehicles. But the problem is, nobody asked for that comeback, and nobody seems interested in their cars. With so few dealers left, parts support is becoming a logistical nightmare. If you buy an Infiniti now, you might end up driving twice as far, just to find someone who can work on it. And guess who pays for that? You do. Insurers know what's happening too. And when a brand is on shaky ground, premiums quietly creep up to cover the risk. Nissan keeps insisting Infiniti will thrive again, but the brand has zero momentum, zero identity, and almost zero customers. The longer they drag out this collapse, the more current owners feel the pain. Lower resale values, harder financing, and warranties that suddenly feel like maybe if we're still around. Infiniti once tried to compete with Lexus and BMW. Now they're fighting for survival and losing. And if you think this is bad, the next brand proves that even passion and history can't save an automaker when the sales just aren't there. Maserati. Maserati has been relaunching itself for what feels like 20 years, but the only thing consistently launching is their customers' money straight into the depreciation dumpster. Even their Halo supercars, the ones that are supposed to hold value, are dropping 30% in the first year. If the dream car loses value faster than a commuter sedan, the dream is officially over. Behind the scenes, the situation is even worse. Planned new models are being quietly canceled, investments are drying up, and engineers are being reassigned to other Stellantis brands because the company sees no profitable future here. When the people building the cars move on, the brand is already gone. Dealers know it too. Maserati showrooms are shutting down or getting absorbed into bigger luxury groups where Maserati becomes the car nobody really pushes. And if you finance one, congratulations, you might be underwater on that loan before the ink dries. High maintenance costs, uncertain warranty support, and sinking resale values. That's a triple threat to your wallet. Maserati once stood for Italian style and passion. Today, they're standing on a trapdoor that's already starting to open. Stellantis. Here's the twist nobody is ready for. The biggest collapse on this entire countdown isn't just one brand. It's the company that owns 14 of them. Stellantis, the parent of Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Fiat, Chrysler, Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and DS, is running out of time. On paper, it looks like a global powerhouse. In reality, it's a sinking ship where everyone is fighting over the lifeboats. Stellantis is drowning in debt, losing market share across multiple continents, and shutting down factories like it's a clearance sale. When a company has too many brands and not enough buyers, the math eventually breaks, and that breaking point is arriving fast. Even executives are cashing out their own stock, which tells you everything you need to know about confidence inside the building. And here's where it hits home. If Stellantis goes down, it won't just be one brand disappearing. It could be half the names in your neighborhood. Jeep SUVs, Dodge trucks, Ram workhorses, suddenly unsure who's paying the warranty bills. If a brand loses support, your car loses value. If a parent company falls apart, your financing becomes riskier than you ever signed up for. That means real people, everyday owners, could end up stuck paying for a car that becomes worthless before the loan is even half paid off. Tough trucks and rugged badges don't mean much if the company behind them vanishes. Stellantis was supposed to create one unstoppable force. Instead, it may become the biggest collapse the car industry has ever seen. And if that doesn't make you rethink your next purchase, nothing will. So here's the reality. The car industry is changing faster than any of us expected, and while some brands evolve, others simply collapse. When a company cuts dealerships, slashes investment, or abandons entire markets, it's not just a headline. It affects real owners, people with payments, people with families, people who just want a car they can depend on. If you buy from a brand that doesn't make it past 2026, you're not just taking a risk, you're taking on someone else's problem. Because once a brand disappears, resale values plummet, warranties turn into question marks, and suddenly even simple repairs become stressful, expensive, and hard to find. You deserve better than that, and that's why understanding this list matters. Saving money isn't just about finding the lowest price. It's about choosing a car that's still going to have support, parts, and value years from now. Because the last thing anyone wants is to be stuck paying thousands on a car that the market has already walked away from. Now, I want to hear from you. Did one of these brands surprise you? Did your favorite car make the list? Are you thinking of selling before the market catches on? Drop your thoughts below. If you found this video helpful, if it saved you from a risky purchase or gave you something to think about, hit that like button. It helps this video reach other drivers who need this information before it's too late. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week we're doing the positive side of this story, the car brands that are absolutely worth your money, and the ones dominating reliability, resale value, and long-term savings. Thanks for watching, and remember, cars should take you places, not take your savings.